First of all, greetings from Alex. She's upstairs.
Oh, good.
Trader.
Yes.
And she told me that one of your family members was at the Titanic, on the Titanic.
That's right. My father's uncle, my great uncle, James McGann, was in the crew of the Titanic.
In the crew,
He was on the crew, and he survived. And in the film, in James Cameron's movie, there's a scene towards the end where the ship is sinking, and the captain. No, thank you. And the captain is there, and the ship is in the water, and it's about to sink. And the captain is terrified, and he's there on the deck. And the captain has with him 2 children. And one of the crew takes one of the children from him, from the captain, and they all jump into the sea. That was my uncle.
Oh, really?
Yes, and it actually happened. That's how it happened. In the day, my uncle James McGann, was the last crewman to see the captain alive, and they climbed into the last lifeboat, but the captain didn't survive. He drowned, but my uncle survived. And my great uncle, he gave interviews to the newspapers and to the Inquiry in Nova Scotia. And now online, on the internet, you can see him. You can see it there. And for years before the internet, my family used to say, well, maybe it's just a story, maybe it's just a mythology, but when only 5 years ago, my sister found it on the internet and said, look, it's true. There he is. There's the interview. There's the Inquiry. And there's Jimmy in the Inquiry. Yeah, that happened. Yeah. He was from Liverpool.
This was the first movie, or
This is a monocled mutineer,
Yeah.
and this was my first big break. I had been an actor for about 4 years, and it was a big, important break. Suddenly, I was a TV star, and it was exciting, and also it meant that I might be in a movie. In England in those days, this was the tradition. You had to be in a big TV, and then perhaps you might get a movie afterwards. And that's exactly what happened to me. Then Withnail and I was followed on from this, the Monocle Mutineer. But that was 30 years ago.
30 years ago.
Yeah. Before you were born.
You acted in so many series, and of course in Alien 3.
Yes.
Next is Sigourney Weaver and Charles Dance. So maybe just can tell about how it was to make such a great horror movie.
Well, the thing that I remember most about making Alien 3 was working with David Fincher. And in those days, he was younger than me. Fincher was only 25, maybe 26. And on the day that I went to the studio, Pinewood Studio in London, to meet with this director, to try to be in this film, I thought that this boy who came to talk to me was the boy who worked in the office, who was the boy who eventually would take me to see the director. And we stood, but he was lovely, and he was American, and we stood and we chatted and talked for about 10 minutes. And then he said to me, can I ask you a question? Are you waiting for me to take you in to see the guy?
Yeah.
I said, yeah. He said, no, man, I'm the guy. And he was younger than me. And I was 27, 28. And so we laughed, we laughed. And he took me inside this office that he had. And all around on the walls of the office, were these drawings, his own drawings, design drawings. And on the table were these models, set design He made them. Finch is a genius, and his background was in technology, industrial light and magic in California. George Lucas, they found him in school when he was a 14-year-old. They could see that this child was a genius. So Fincher comes from that background. So when I remember Alien 3, I just remember working with this boy, genius. And the crew loved him because he understood the machines. The actors loved him because he understood about storytelling. And look at him now, he's a world famous director. Quite right. But Alien 3 was a problem for him because the producers, I think they were quite jealous of him, that he was so clever and so young. And initially, it was easy. We shot very well, we made a good picture, but after 6 months or so, there were problems. And the producers, the studio, took the picture off him. They took it away from him. And that must be the most terrible thing to happen for a director, to have a picture taken away from him. And I saw him, Fincher, maybe a year later, when we were doing the sound, and he looked sad and stressed, It wasn't a good experience for him. But then, later on, he became David Fincher. And then, of course, there were new versions, new editions of this film. Fincher's own cut of the film. Now you can see it on DVD, and of course it's a really, really good picture. It's a really good picture. It's underrated. And I really enjoyed it. I especially liked working with Charlie Dance was my friend, so I liked working with him.
Really?
Yeah. But Sigourney Weaver was wonderful, and she was she's a very powerful woman. She was the most powerful woman in Hollywood in those days. Very tall and very striking looking, very clever, very intellectual, clever. And so many, I suppose, small men, scared men, were afraid of her. It was her movie, really. But Fincher liked her, and she liked him. So it was a good relationship. But and Sigourney, like me, I remember we became good friends, because she had a good sense of humor and she could laugh. But other men were a bit afraid of her. But I liked her. And I remember we shot maybe 4 different endings of the film. Fincher liked to work like this. We shot a sequence where I killed Sigourney Weaver. And then the next day we shot a sequence where somebody else killed Sigourney Weaver. He wasn't sure which end he would like. So it was great, it was fun. I liked it.
One of my friends watched The Lesbian Vampire Killers. Okay, you couldn't see his face, but I do. So you were a swearing priest.
Yes.
How was it like to do all these nasty words during the whole movie?
Oh, I don't mind. I don't mind swearing. I especially don't mind swearing if I'm being paid to swear. That's okay. Swearing dressed as a priest was kind of strange. You know what? That film. I think most people agree that film is a strange. It wasn't very successful. I think everybody understands that. I enjoyed it because I always like to enjoy things, and the reason that I did it was because they asked me to do it. When you work as an actor, mostly you have to audition for things, and sometimes you're successful, sometimes you fail. Very occasionally, somebody just calls you up and says, "We're making a movie. Do you want to be in it?" And you go, "Yeah!" It doesn't happen very often. But James Corden, who was making Lesbian Vampire Killers, they called me and said, "Come on, be in this film." So I said, "Yeah, okay." I like that. And my kids, my boys, really liked it. So I thought, "Oh, well, okay."
It is funny.
It was funny. It wasn't a total failure.
And one special series is Luther. And maybe you can explain a bit what was the character about and how does it feel to be in such a great crime series.
Luther was. I was surprised that Luther was such a big hit, and I was wrong about it. When I read it, I thought it was interesting, but I didn't think so many people would really enjoy it, really go for it. I thought, yeah, it'll be good, but maybe just a few people will enjoy it, who love crime. But it became this big hit, a hit in America, a hit all over Europe, and of course, mostly because of Idris, because he's so fantastic in it. And now he's a big star, he's a big movie star. So they make more and more Luthers. Even now, they made a movie, they make some more series. My character, well, I'm going to ask you a question. What happened to my character, Mark North? One day he was there, next day he was gone, and he didn't die. It's like he walked out of the house and never came back. Like, where is he? And people always say to me, when are you coming back? And I say, I don't know. I'm not dead. So I wish I could still be in it. But it was good, and it was good to work with Idris, particularly with Idris, because he's a strong character. And if he was here, if Idris was here now, and Idris is this very beautiful, huge black guy, and the idea that I could be a rival, I'm this small white guy, that I could be a rival to this beautiful big guy, it's funny. It was just funny. We laughed, and we even in one of the episodes we have a fight, and they had to stand me on a box so I could have a fight with this guy. It was funny. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Your favorite genre? You made crime, you made comedy, you made drama, fantasy, science fiction, everything, horror. So,
my favorite? That's a good question. Let me think about that.
You can sign and think about it.
I can sign, I can write and think at the same time.
Don't let this happen.
I know. You know what? Maybe it's because of my background in British TV, but I liked. We have a tradition there of sort of drama, documentary. Real things, political things, strong subjects. And some of the first things that I did when I was first an actor were these documentaries, and they're my favourites. We would do things about political events. For example, one of the first things I ever did was something about the Solidarity uprising in Poland in 1982. And I played the leader of the Student Union in Poland. I love that kind of thing. So it's real events about real people. It's the opposite to science fiction. Yeah, but that's my favorite. It's nice to pretend, but it's nice to do real things from time to time.
Someone told me you like to talk about cooking.
Yeah.
So, what's your favorite recipe, or would you like to cook when you get home?
My kids and my wife like it when I make kedgeree. Okay. You know what kedgeree is? Kedgeree is it's an Indian breakfast dish of fish and rice and eggs and cream. And they say to me that this is the best thing that I do. It's my signature dish. They call it my signature dish. So when I want to please them, I make that. I'm not a very good cook. I can cook, but I'm not very good. I think because I was always surrounded by, or I lived with, really good cooks, I was slightly intimidated.
We always want to know what's your favorite movie, series, your personal.
My favorite movie? Perhaps my favorite movie is a German movie. actually.
Really?
Made in 1926. Pandora's Box. Made by Pabst. It's starring Louise Brooks, the American. It's a silent movie. It's a wonderful film. And recently, I like old movies. And recently I watched a fantastic film that I'd never seen before, directed by Alfred Hitchcock, with Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman in, called Notorious. If you've never seen it, see it. It's a miracle. Yeah, there we go.
It's a very odd question. What is the first thing you do when you come home after a long session?
The first thing I do is kiss my children.
So open the door and then...
That's it, I find my children. And I kiss them and I tell them that I love them.
So just for the record, it's 2 boys.
2 boys.
Yeah, 2 boys.
And they're not children anymore. They're grown men. But I still kiss them.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
They're 27 and 25.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
So they're-
okay.
they're
So
grown
no little boys,
No, but listen, I'm still kiss them, right? And I'll never stop kissing them. There we are.
So thank you
pleasure.
very, very much for your time. And so keep signing.
All right.
I will watch this
Yep.
and yeah, hope see you soon.
Hope so too.
Yeah.
Thank you, doctor. Let it dry. Hello. There we are. What name is it? Oh, Stephanie. Have you ever written your name 600 times
Nearly, because
day.
already in a day, no.
in a day?
In general, yes.
What happens is it becomes a different name. It started as something yesterday, and now it's become someone else's name. It's changed. I think it's become Patricia Morgan. That's who I am today. I'm Patricia Morgan.
Maybe I can tell a bit while Paul is.
Yeah, you can describe it.
Yeah,
It's
I
radio.
describe. Yeah.
Alien 3.
Ah, yeah.
There he is, that poor boy with the bald
Yeah,
head
bald head. Yeah.
and no teeth. No, I can't even see that. What's going on here? And I'm writing on my face.